The task we must set for ourselves is not to feel secure, but to be able to tolerate insecurity. To die is poignantly bitter, but the idea of having to die without having lived is unbearable. Not he who has much is rich, but he who gives much. If I am what I have and if what I have is lost, who then am I? Nobody but a defeated, deflated, pathetic testimony to a wrong way of living. In love the paradox occurs, that two beings become one and yet remain two. There is nothing inhuman, evil, or irrational which does not give some comfort, provided it is shared by a group. To spare oneself from grief at all cost can be achieved only at the price of total detachment, which excludes the ability to experience happiness. The only truly affluent are those who do not want more than they have. Mother's love is peace. It need not be acquired, it need not be deserved. Love isn't something natural. Rather it requires discipline, concentration, patience, faith, and the overcoming of narcissism. It isn't a feeling, it is a practice. Immature love says, I love you because I need you. Mature love says I need you because I love you. Paradoxically, the ability to be alone is the condition for the ability to love. Creativity requires the courage to let go of certainties. That millions of people share the same forms of mental pathology does not make these people sane. If a person loves only one other person and is indifferent to all others, his love is not love but a symbiotic attachment, or an enlarged egotism. One cannot be deeply responsive to the world without being saddened very often. Man is the only animal for whom his own existence is a problem which he has to solve. Love is the only sane and satisfactory answer to the problem of human existence. Man's main task is to give birth to himself. The quest for certainty blocks the search for meaning. Uncertainty is the very condition to impel man to unfold his powers. The mature response to the problem of existence is love. The real opposition is that between the ego-bound man, whose existence is structured by the principle of having, and the free man, who has overcome his egocentricity. Critical and radical thought will only bear fruit when it is blended with the most precious quality man is endowed with the love of life. Greed has no satiation point, since its consummation does not fill the inner emptiness, boredom, loneliness, and depression it is meant to overcome. Thus, the ultimate choice for a man, inasmuch as he is driven to transcend himself, is to create or to destroy, to love or to hate. Man's main task in life is to give birth to himself, to become what he potentially is. The most important product of his effort is his own personality. There is no meaning to life except the meaning man gives his life by the unfolding of his powers. I want the loved person to grow and unfold for his own sake, and in his own ways, and not for the purpose of serving me. If without effort and willingness to experience pain and anxiety, nobody grows, in fact nobody achieves anything worth achieving. Care and responsibility are constituent elements of love, but without respect for and knowledge of the beloved person, love deteriorates into domination and possessiveness. Love is a power which produces love. Love is the active concern for the life and the growth of that which we love. Where this active concern is lacking, there is no love. The danger of the past was that men became slaves. The danger of the future is that men may become robots. Love is an act of faith. Rationalizing is not a tool for penetration of reality, but a post factum attempt to harmonize one's own wishes with existing reality. If one is not productive in other spheres, one is not productive in the love either. The more man understands and masters nature, the less he needs to use religion as a scientific explanation and as a magical device for controlling nature. The paradoxical situation with a vast number of people today is that they are half asleep when awake, and half awake when asleep, or when they want to sleep. Selfish persons are incapable of loving others, but they are not capable of loving themselves either. I cannot know who I am, because I don't know which part of me is not me. There is hardly any activity, any enterprise, which is started with such tremendous hopes and expectations, and yet, which fails so regularly, as love. Today the function of psychiatry, psychology and psychoanalysis threatens to become the tool in the manipulation of man. Indeed, the alienated person finds it almost impossible to remain by himself, because he is seized by the panic of experiencing nothingness. Greed is a bottomless pit which exhausts the person in an endless effort to satisfy the need without ever reaching satisfaction. The fact that millions of people take part in a delusion doesn't make it sane. The value judgments we make determine our actions, and upon their validity rests our mental health and happiness.